Hey, what's up? This is right from where we left off. So in this lesson, we're gonna be looking at some new modules. Before we start off, for changing the default map of your level, you can go to the project settings and search here for default. And in the startup section, you can change the map, whatever you want it to be. I just changed it to the tutorial map we just created in the previous lessons, but you can change it to whatever you want. So this is what we created in the previous lesson. So just right click on it and select edit. Okay, start off, let's add some velocity in the particle spawn stage. Go back to our level and we can see that our particle starts moving upward with some velocity. If we increase the velocity speed, we can see that it moves faster. Changing it to 6, we can see that it has more velocity. Now, if we change the particle lifetime, decrease it to something like 0.4, we can see that the particle dies quickly. Now, if we change the loop duration to 0.4 as well, we can see that there's no gap in the spawning of the next particle. Change it to something like 0.7, and it has a longer loop and a longer lifetime. So if we change the spawn count in the spawn burst instantaneous, we can see that all the particles are moving in the same direction while spawning in the same place. So you can really tell that if there are more than one particles. What we can do in here is add another module, spawn rate, and disable the spawn burst instantaneous. So what this does is spawns particles per second. Change it to something like 15 and you can tell that there are more than one particles. That is because they are not spawning at the same time. Let's change it to something like 3 or maybe 4. Now, if we change the loop duration of our emitter to 2, nothing really happens. It is because the animation of our particles is the same and we can really tell when the next loop begins. In other words, it's constant. It's not changing. Now, if we turn the scale color on, we can see that the particles have a smooth animation. They spawn fading in, and at the end of the lifetime, they die fading out. Let's change the spawn rate to something like 2 to have a better look. One other thing we can do in here is change the sprite size to random uniform. So everything we're doing right now is to have a better understanding of the modules we have and what we can achieve from this. So if we change it to 20 and 80, the particles being spawned will have a random size between 20 and 80. I'm going to change the particle lifetime to 1.5. These values aren't fixed, so always try testing it out yourself to see what works the best. Also, let's try changing the velocity speed to something like 2 or maybe 3. This is what we have. And maybe change the spawn rate to something like 4. Now, we can see that the particles are spawning in different time, but they are still spawning in the same place. So to change that, we can add another module, which is called shape location. Nice. Press G on your keyboard for the icon and G again for the gaming mode. Okay, cool. So that's it for this lesson. See you in the next one.